Hey, what's going on, everybody? Gotta do like a intro song. I got my guitar. Can play a little. That's Anyways, got my coffee. I'm a little bit late getting to the party today, so sorry about that. I know I said I was gonna go on at like 11 a.m., but some stuff came up. Oh, I can bring you guys on camera now? That's cool. Hey, what's up, everybody? Oh, awesome. A lot of people jumping on. Hello. What's up, Virginia? Mindy? Amber? Hey, everybody. So, Christine, what's up? Hello. All right, you guys. Well, it's a little bit late. Later than I thought I would be jumping on for this. But if you guys have some coffee, feel free to take a sip with me. 3, 2, 1. That's good coffee. I got this vanilla roast. It's like new roast. It's phenomenal. I love a little vanilla. So yeah, good morning. Well, good afternoon. Really, it's almost 1. I think it's like 1 o'clock, right? So I wanted to do a live feed today. I wanted to just start talking a little bit. I know I've started getting a good amount of questions about like writing and starting writing, and I just want to give back a little bit, tell you all what I've learned, and maybe you can drinking a beer there. Okay, nice. Okay, 7 p.m. in the UK. Cool. Yeah, still morning in Cali. I love that. I should be living in Cali. I have a California style. I like being up a little bit later. Anyways, so I have just a quick question that I wanted to ask you all, and that is, I asked this yesterday. I did a Dr. Pepper, nice. Virginia, Dr. Pepper is my dad's vice, totally. My dad's vice. And so I did a poll yesterday, and I was asking everyone what if they ever try to write a book, or like 2 days ago, I think. And there were like 300 responses, and about half the people had tried to write a book, which I thought was super awesome. And it sounded like also a lot of people had tried to write a book and then they didn't. Thanks, Virginia. Yeah, they tried to write one and then they didn't necessarily finish it off, which is I think that's totally normal. So I want to talk a little bit about the best book ever for like beginning writers. And I'm curious, all right, so all of you who are on this feed right now, have you all tried to write a book? People that are on? Because that's what I want to talk about right now. You all know I write books. I have a book coming out in about a week, but I'm not really going to talk about that right now. That's not really, if you want to hear about that, you can join my reader group. Yeah, Tracy, I saw you said that. I think that's a really good idea, and I think you should definitely keep going with that. Okay, so sounds like a lot of people. Okay, that's what I was thinking. So I did. Damn, I can't find my. I did a post. I did an interesting post the other day, and I was asking people if they. I can't find it. It disappeared. But I asked people basically what was like keeping them back from writing. It was interesting. It was interesting to hear, like sort of what people were holding people back. They hadn't like finished the book. And just to give you all like a background on me, I've told the story a few different times, but the first book I tried to write was when I was 8 years old. I didn't finish that book. Then fast forward to like when I was about 23, I was in the Peace Corps. Train, so drink your coffee. When I was 23, I was in the Peace Corps, and I started writing a book. I started trying to write another book, and I never finished that book. I still haven't finished that book. And then I finally started writing romance books, and then finally got going. And then once you get the momentum, you really can crush it. Family drama, okay. Interesting. Awesome. So I want to try to help you all and just kind of lay out the foundation to what it takes to get a book going. And I really think the reason I'm doing this too, I'm just to let you guys in. So I think some of you probably know, recently my 22-year-old cousin passed away. It's really sad. And he was a very talented, like extremely talented guitar player. I got his little, this, you can see, I don't know, it says JD, Jimmy Dooley. It's got a little guitar in there. You can't really see it on this thing. But anyways, I was getting pumped about, like I'm older than him by almost a decade. But I was getting super excited about like sort of guiding him and like mentoring him, because he was gonna be, I mean, he already was a phenomenal guitarist, but like it was like you could see him doing like music videos and stuff. But anyways, yeah, Christine, that's like a great it's a great point. Just not having the confidence to put yourself out there, and I think it can seem really overwhelming. If you start if you start and thinking about the end goal like right away, like you don't want to start in like you thinking about Christine, I'm responding to that, like worrying about what people are gonna think potentially, like, you know, a year from now or 6 months from now, 2 years from now, when you like finish your book, that shouldn't get you like stopped from writing like a little bit today, if that makes sense. But it's definitely, I think that's a common that's like a very common theme, is that you will sort of, and I do this too. I'm like, oh man, like I don't live in LA, like I can't write a screenplay. Well, better not try. Like that's one thing that I've thought about doing, right? And like, oh yeah, I can't. Like, why would I write a screenplay? I would have to move to LA. I'd have to break up with my girlfriend. She doesn't want to go to LA, right? And that's like such a crazy thing. You just like your mind just like goes off in like a crazy direction, and it's not like a helpful way to think. So I think it's important to start asking yourself, like a little bit, like breaking it down into much smaller steps and thinking about like what can I do today, like what little tiny thing. And I like to call it, I believe in the rule of 1%, if you guys ever heard this rule. But the rule of 1% is that if you start like if you do 1% of something today compounded, that's going to really be able to, it's like, because it's going to compound, and that's going to get you to a far away place that you didn't even think you could go. So and that's how, I mean, me personally was able to write. I mean, I've written 12 books now, and I don't, okay, we disconnected for a second. And I was able to quit my job, stuff like that. I mean, that's like all far down the line, but the more important thing is just to focus on it like a little bit every day. Laura, that's a great question. Do you think writers should start out taking classes? I do not think so. I personally have not taken any writing classes. I mean, I went to college, so I wrote. I didn't take any like writing classes in college even. So I've never taken a writing class. I think the belief in classes, like, it's funny you say it, I signed up for a creative writing class this summer because I was like, oh, I should take a class to like work on my craft. And it was so like elementary that it was pointless. And I actually stopped going. I went to 3 classes, and I was like, there are 3 major kinds of point of view. There's third person, second person, and first person. I'm like, well, yeah, no shit. Like, what? I'm paying to learn this? It was so stupid. So why not put your energies into actually writing? And anyways, that's what I want to talk about today. So here is the book. I have a writing group, Mickey's Writing Mill. Hasn't been super active, but so I gifted a copy of this book. I think it's reversed on here, but it's The Artist's Way. You can see it. The Artist's Way, and it's by Julia Cameron. Yeah, an artist workshop would be a more productive use of your time, for sure. I'm going to talk about this book in a second, but yeah, I mean, thinking about like a writing class, here's what I think about that. So, okay, you're going to go to a writing class, say it's like once a week for 3 hours, right? So you're going to go to the writing class, and you're going to sit there, and you're passive, right? Like, you're passive, you're just like, they're sort of telling you stuff. So you don't do anything, and then you get out of class, you know, you're tired, it's from 7 to 10 p.m. or whatever, you gotta go to bed, and then get up in the morning, go to work. Like, you only have so many hours in the day that you can really write. So instead of doing a writing class, which is gonna cost money, by the way, they're not cheap, it's like probably gonna be like $300 to like $500, at least around Chicago, that's what it is. And you could just go to, like, make a class with yourself and say from 7 to 10, I'm going to go to a new, like, in Starbucks or whatever it is, go to like a coffee shop or a bar, anywhere. Just be like, I'm going to go there and I'm going to write. And you go there, don't bring your phone, just go hang out there and like disconnect. Bring like a notebook, or if you have a computer, you can do that. You cannot be, when you're trying to write, you cannot be on the internet. That's like another thing that'll F you up real good. But just write, and don't don't let yourself be distracted. But anyways, let's talk about this. I love the questions. I'm happy to answer more questions. But I love this book, Julia Cameron, the writer, The Artist's Way, and it's from Puerto Rico. What's going on? I love Facebook. You can just do it is crazy. I'll can get in touch with everyone around the world here. But so this book, in my opinion, this is one of the best books and for writing of all time, because it's not like, if you read like a textbook on like how to write, I mean, we all know how to write if we're writing, even if you don't know perfect grammar, which I don't. We all know how to write. We know how to speak, and you can write. So what this book does is encourages you to write the morning pages, and let's talk about the morning pages, because I think they are like the most important tool you will ever find. I do this just about every day. I wake up and I have like my little routine now, and even it's different now that I don't have a day job, but I still would do it most days. So basically every day I wake up, I wake up slowly, then I go into get some coffee, and then I go get my special pen, I get my notebook, and I write freehand. I write like three pages freehand, and it's not really about me trying to write something phenomenal. It's just you're trying to train yourself to like get this. I don't explain it exactly, but it's like a connection to your subconscious. Because when you're writing and you're writing well, one of the things you're really doing is mining your subconscious for like extra thoughts, basically, and like you're trying to get deep in there. So the morning pages every day helps you like clear out your mind. And I know it sounds like I'm not a big person to believe in like catch-all solutions, or if you do that, if you do this, like everything's gonna be better. And it's not exactly like that, but the reason morning pages work if you want to be an author is because you're working on being active, and you're working on like writing, and you're like working, like you're doing it, like Laura, right? You said about going to the class. You're like, should I go to a class? And it's like, if you go to a class, you're passive, and you're not like, you're consuming. And I think we're trained, like I used to be a teacher. I used to be a high school teacher, by the way. And you're really trained to just be like obedient and sit in the chair in high school, because that's what a teacher wants, to keep control of the class. And I know there's new teaching philosophies, and so when you're doing that, you're being active. Dina, am I saying that right, Dina? Great question. I love that question. Dina says, I tried morning pages, but I often just feel like I have nothing to write. It feels awkward. How do you feel about that? I think you should, if I were you, I would definitely like grab this book. I think it's like there's a Kindle form of it too, but I think that's actually like a very common phase. And I don't know, I would want to know like, how long have you been doing it for? Did you do it for like a week and then it started getting like sort of boring, like you're saying, or you felt like you didn't have anything to write? Because that's when, I think, when you don't think you have something to write, like it's sort of more important to write. I don't know if that makes sense, because you can always find something to write. Like you could literally, in my morning pages, it's not like you have to be you're not writing the most riveting, best-selling novel. That's not the goal of them. You're really learning to not judge what you're putting down on the paper. So you're learning to just be able to have the like mind to pen or like mind to keyboard connection. So you're like creating this, and it's about the habit more than it is the content. So I think, but that's a great question. But like when I'm writing the morning pages, it's just like it could literally be like, now I'm writing a lot. I'm thinking about, try to stay. You're sort of learning to stay in touch, like with what's on your mind. And if you're like, oh, if I'm writing like, God, this is boring. Like I'm boring. I don't even know why I'm writing. Sometimes I should write like, I could be doing other things. Like, why don't I just like not be a writer? Crazy stuff, right? You can write whatever you want. You can write like, oh, it's gonna rain later, and that's cool, I guess. I kind of like the rain, but I don't know. Like I'm saying, you could just do, it's just stream of consciousness. So you're literally just training yourself to write like first thing in the morning. And okay, someone asked a great question. Why in the morning? Kelly Jo says, I'm foggy compared to late night. I guess you could do it at night. There's no reason that you couldn't, and it would be good at any time of day. But there is something about like doing it in the morning when you're like coming like before you have the full day in front of you. There's something special about that, because it really clears your mind. I found this, like, it'll clear my mind, like, even for the rest of the day, or for things that I'm doing, and I can get a lot more done. That's why I don't really mind, like, today I have a 4,000 word goal that I have to write, but I don't really mind having that goal and writing the morning pages, because the morning pages, like, they just like clear my mind from, they like clear the fog out or something. It's like, how can I put this? It's like taking a shower for your mind in the morning or something like that, and you just feel more like you don't feel as bogged down by your thoughts. If that makes sense, I don't know. Maybe that's the way I understand it. But let's see, what other questions we have? Do I write, Julie, scenarios in the morning pages? What kind of scenarios? What do you mean? Yeah, just keep going through it, Audrey. Just keep going. You should tell my girlfriends. Well, you got to start somewhere. And yeah, Brooke has a really great point. That is like, yeah, that's totally fine. Like you're curbing your perfectionism, because if you're gonna write for like the worst thing you can do is just not write, or just have something that you want to do and you don't do it, if that makes sense. Drink. Drink that coffee. Oh yeah, I'm getting so coffee buzzed. This is great. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Kelly, I think that's great too. I think that's great. But you're training your body, you're training your like mind body connection to be able to just hit the page and write. So it's sort of like getting a swing, or it's sort of like warming up before you work out or something like that. And it's not like a diary. Like Tracy, I think in a diary you would be saying like, you would be like kind of summarizing the day, right? Like there's sort of a goal. With the morning pages, there's not a specific goal. So let me just okay. Here we go. Let me just read you guys an excerpt from The Artist's Way, which you all should check out. Virginia, I would definitely write stream of consciousness without a thesaurus and then make like a little star, because I had to do that too when I was learning Spanish in Guarani. And I would just make, if you don't know a word, just keep going. Do not stop. That's definitely a key. So let me read you all a little page. Okay. All right. Damn, there's a lot of trains for the afternoon. Laura, you can find it on Amazon. I'm not on my computer right now, but I'll post it soon, so you can get it. But here is a little excerpt. Okay. There's no wrong way to do morning pages. These daily morning meanderings are not meant to be art, or even writing. I stress that point to reassure non-writers working with this book. Writing is simply one of the tools. Pages are meant to be simply the act of moving the hand across the page and writing down whatever comes to mind. Nothing is too petty, too silly, too stupid, or too weird to be included. And yeah, Dina, that's really like, I think that's what you were asking about. It's really like a, just a way to like not judge your own thoughts. The morning pages are not supposed to sound smart, although sometimes they might. Most times they won't, and nobody will ever know except you. Nobody is allowed to read your morning pages except you. Very important point. And you shouldn't even read them yourself for the first 8 weeks or so. Just write 3 pages and stick them into an envelope. Or not. Just leave them in your diary or book. Or write 3 pages in a spiral notebook and don't leaf back through. Just write 3 pages and write 3 more pages the next day. Here's like an example from her diary, or from her morning pages. September 30, 1991. Over the weekend for Dominica's biology project, she and I went bug hunting on the Rio Grande and Pot Creek. We collected water crawlies and butterflies. I made a crimson homemade butterfly net that was quite functional, although dragonflies eluded us to our dismay. We did not catch the tarantula strolling down the dirt road near our house. We just enjoyed spotting it. Although occasionally colorful, the morning pages are often negative, frequently fragmented, often self-pitying, repetitive, stilted, or babyish, angry or bland, even silly sounding. Good. October 2nd, 1991. I am up and have a headache and have taken aspirin and feel a little bit better, although still shaky. I may have that flu after all. I'm getting to the bottom of a lot of unpacking and still no teapot from Laura, whom I'm sorely missing. What a heartbreak. All that angry, whiny, petty stuff that you write down in the morning stands between you and your creativity. Worrying about the job, the laundry, the funny knock in the car, the weird look in your lover's eye. This stuff eddies through our subconscious and muddies our days. Get it on the page. The morning pages are the primary tools of creative recovery. As blocked artists, we tend to criticize ourselves mercilessly. Even if we look like functioning artists to the world, we feel we never do enough, and what we do isn't right. We are victims of our own internalized perfectionist, a nasty internal and eternal critic, the censor, who resides in our left brain and keeps up a constant stream of subversive remarks that are often disguised as truth. The censor says wonderful things like, "You call that writing? What a joke. You can't even punctuate. If you haven't done it by now, you never will. You can't even spell. What makes you think you can be creative?" And on and on. Make this a rule. Always remember that your censor's negative opinions are not the truth. This takes practice. By spilling out of bed and straight onto the page every morning, you learn to evade the censor. Because there is no wrong way to write the morning pages, the censor's opinion doesn't count. Let your censor rattle on. Just keep your hand moving across the page. Write down the censor's thoughts if you want to. Note how it loves to aim for your creative jugular. Make no mistake, the censor is out to get you. It's a cunning foe. Every time you get smarter, so does it. So you wrote one good play? The censor tells you that's all there is. So you drew your first sketch? The censor says it's not Picasso. Anyways, that is part of The Artist's Way. Like I said, highly recommend that book. And if you're looking to start writing, it's like the best tool. But even if you have more experience, I mean, I know one of my favorite screenwriters, Brian Koppelman, he wrote Rounders, and he's also the creator of Billions, the current show. He's like obsessed with that, and he had a quote, he said, "It's the closest thing to magic that you'll ever find." So, anyways, hope that helps. I know I've talked about doing this, so hope you guys enjoy it, and check out that book. And I have a release coming up, by the way, next week. So, The Lying Game, you can see what I've put together with my creative mind. But I hope you all really have got something out of this. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in a comments thread or join Mickey's Writing Mill. You can join that and post your questions in there. It'll be a little bit easier for me to keep track of them. But really hope that you guys can get going on your writing if that's something you're thinking about. And one of the reasons I do this, I know it's silly, but like I said, cousin Jimmy was looking forward to mentoring him, so I'm really going to try to put this energy out into the world, sort of. And I've known a lot of blocked artists myself. I know what it's like to be a blocked artist, and it's not fun. And I'm usually a lot more, get angry if I'm not in the right state of mind. So this will be lesson 1, the morning pages. I'll be doing more of these Facebook Lives this coming year, and probably going to base them around your questions. So definitely feel free to ask me questions. You might release in my first in the month. That's some interesting language, Jessica. Let's get some certainty around that. That's cool, though. That's really great. But anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful week. And if you do the morning pages, I'm really curious to know how they're going for you. So join Mickey's Writing Mill, and I will we'll try to see how y'all are doing. So all right, you guys, have a good rest of your Monday.